Imagine waking up one morning and you don't know where you are. The room smells like antiseptic. There are men in white coats around you. They have clipboards, they have needles, and they are smiling. You are not a patient. You are not a person. You are a number, an experiment, a log of wood. Today, we open one of the darkest chapters in human history, a chapter that most schools never taught you, a chapter that powerful governments tried to bury. This is the story of Unit 731 and the Nazi doctors, the day science became a weapon and human beings became test subjects. The year is 1939. Two of the most powerful nations on Earth, Nazi Germany and Imperial Japan, are at war. Millions of soldiers, millions of weapons, and millions of people who suddenly have no rights. In the chaos of war, two groups of scientists made the same decision. On opposite sides of the planet, they decided that some human lives were worth less than others. The Jews, the Chinese, the Koreans, the prisoners, they called them enemies. They called them inferior. Some of them, they stopped calling them human at all. And once you stop seeing someone as human, there is no limit to what you can do to them. What happened next changed medicine forever, but the price that was paid was unimaginable. In the frozen fields of Manchuria, China, far from the eyes of the world, the Japanese Imperial Army built something. From the outside, it looked like a water purification plant, just a boring military facility. That was the lie. Inside, 150 buildings, 3,000 staff, and a name that would one day make the world go silent. Unit 731, run by a man named Lieutenant General Shiro Ishii, a doctor, a researcher, a genius by every academic measure, and one of the most evil human beings who ever lived. His mission? To create the most powerful biological weapons in history, and to do that, he needed test subjects. He called them maruta. In Japanese, that word means logs of wood, not people, logs. Thousands of Chinese civilians, Korean prisoners, Soviet soldiers, dragged into the facility, never to leave. What happened to them inside those walls? I want you to understand I'm not for shock value, but because the world tried very hard to make sure you never found out. Prisoners were infected, deliberately, with plague, cholera, typhoid. Scientists watched, took notes, measured how long a healthy man took to die. They conducted frostbite experiments. Men were forced to stand outside in minus 40-degree temperatures. Their arms were frozen, deliberately. Then scientists would test different methods to thaw them, not to save them. To collect data, they performed vivisections. That means operating on living human beings without anesthesia. So the results would be pure. 3,000 people. Some say 12,000. We'll never know the exact number, because in August 1945, when Japan lost the war, Shiro Ishii burned everything. The buildings, the records, the evidence, and he made his staff swear silence. But here is the part that will make your blood run cold. The United States government found out. American researchers reviewed Ishii's data, and they made a deal. Ishii and his scientists, in exchange for all their research data, were given complete immunity. No trial, no punishment, no justice. The data was too valuable, and the Cold War was beginning. America needed that science. Unit 731 never had a Nuremberg trial. Most of its scientists lived long, comfortable lives. Some became professors, some became doctors. The victims got nothing, not even acknowledgement. For decades, thousands of miles away, in the heart of Europe, a different kind of horror was unfolding. Inside the Nazi concentration camps, Auschwitz, Dachau, Ravensbrück, over 350 doctors were conducting experiments. Not rogue scientists, not madmen who had escaped a hospital. Educated, certified, respected doctors, men who had taken the Hippocratic Oath. First, do no harm. They had simply decided that oath didn't apply to Jews, to Roma, to anyone they considered beneath them. And among all of them, one name stands above the rest: Josef Mengele. He had 2 PhDs. He was charming. He loved music. Prisoners said he would hum opera tunes while he worked. They called him the Angel of Death. At Auschwitz, Mengele stood at the train platform every day. As thousands of people arrived, starving, terrified, he would calmly point. Left, right. Left meant the gas chamber. Right meant his laboratory. Mengele was obsessed with twins. He believed twins held the secret to genetic manipulation. He collected them. Over 1,500 pairs of twins passed through his experiments. He would inject chemicals into children's eyes, trying to change their color. He would surgically connect twins to each other to see what happened. He would kill one twin deliberately so he could compare the autopsy side by side with the surviving sibling. Can you imagine? You are a child. Your twin brother or sister is beside you, and a man in a white coat is deciding which one of you lives today. When the war ended, Mengele ran to Argentina, to Brazil, hiding for 30 years. The world searched, and he laughed. He died in 1979 of a stroke while swimming in Brazil, in his bed, in peace. Justice did not always find its way, but at least, for some, there was Nuremberg. In 1946, 23 Nazi doctors stood trial. 7 were executed, and from that courtroom, one extraordinary thing was born: the Nuremberg Code, the world's very first document that said, no human being can ever be experimented on without their consent, ever, for any reason, under any government. Every medical ethics rule you have today, every time a doctor asks for your permission before a procedure, that came from this moment, from this darkness. Before I close, I want to leave you with one thought. Unit 731, Josef Mengele, the Nazi doctors. These were not monsters from a fantasy. They were not aliens or demons from another world. They were human beings, just like you, just like me. They went to universities. They had families. They had dreams. And somewhere along the way, someone told them that certain lives mattered less than others, and they believed it. That is the most disturbing part of all of this. Not the experiments, not the scale, the fact that ordinary people did this, because it means, if we are not careful, if we are not watchful, it can happen again. History is not just the past. History is a mirror. The men and women who died in Unit 731, the children in Auschwitz who never came home, the 128 men in Tuskegee who were robbed of their health, they deserve to be remembered, not as numbers, not as data points, as human beings. And we remember them by knowing their story, by refusing to look away, by making sure the world never forgets. This was episode 1 of Dark Pages of History. Episode 2 is coming, and it goes even deeper. Medieval Europe, where torture was not a crime, it was the law. If this episode made you feel something, share it with one person. Subscribe, because this series is just beginning, and the pages only get darker from here.